All right, this is LAPD that has been engaged in incessant pacing by helicopter while I'm on the phone with third-party group stalkers that are affiliated with speaker companies. So this is speaker companies that is on with them while I'm on the job during in the workplace. In other words, they are engaged in what is monitoring and harassment and demonic activity. These are demons that engage in this behavioral pattern as a means of threatening you, as a means of trying to torment you, while a psychopath is outwardly conducting themselves as though, oh, we're just talking about executing a lease for the next move-in on this date, and you're subject to the pattern of conduct. Okay, so I just want to be clear. This entity, that is the same exact entity, the people of the state and speaker companies, and these co-workers, Brian with IT with speaker companies, and Maria Solis, the regional manager with speaker companies, the ongoing pattern of what is the entity stalking by helicopter in the specific environment. And there, let me be clear, the elements of monitoring remain underway. That you do not have to be physically in the path to engage in group stalking. Selena Robledo, Carla Lopez, Juan Carlos, and Maria Solis Alvarez, they utilize communication devices with simultaneity to Los Angeles Police Department's amplification of audible activity. They create activity by virtue of, at the same time where the entity is group stalking a helicopter where I'm at, they engage in what are sending the group text messages. And that's the significance of the type of things that I've captured in screenshots. That's not a coincidence. These are the methods of the very demented, methods of tormenting and targeting and harassing, and they think that it's subtle. They think that it's something that you're not going to recognize, and then even if you do recognize that, the entity is always counting on the fact that it's just going to be dismissed and that it's just some hyper paranoia or something like that, and they engage in a very specific pattern. So there are no coincidences, and this is the same thing that, for example, Vanessa Dries engaged in yesterday, 18-12-5, at the same time at 11:06, where the entity is group stalking while I'm inside of my apartment, the private space, by helicopter. Vanessa Dries engages in the creation of audible activity with simultaneity to the pacing conduct of the Los Angeles Police Department in the specific environment, okay? And doing it, again, it's workplace terrorism. They are monitoring me, and under the malicious guise, I'm the resident manager. Oh, resident manager, target is the target individual. Oh, manager, I need my light bulb replaced in my apartment, and they're present in the specific environment in concert with the Los Angeles Police Department, who's monitoring. I'm on the phone with third-party group stalkers affiliated with this third-party company in the specific environment I'm surrounded by, and they are creating audible activity in relevant position. I'm physically surrounded. Understand it's an entity, so I remain physically surrounded, including by that Los Angeles Police Department, who is obsessively pacing around. These are demons flying helicopters. These demons cannot be removed soon enough, but they are pacing around. Psychotic conduct, okay? They're engaging in demonic activity using a whole helicopter, and they're doing so in the specific environment while I'm on the phone with speaker companies. Speaker companies, not only the company is a third party, but every third party group stalker employed by that third party. These are the layers of that operation of the system of federal group stalking and monitoring. And so that's captured, that's what's signified, it's captured in images, and I just wanted to step out so you could see the Los Angeles Police Department. That's what they've been doing, flying circles around me and amplifying that in the engineered light while I am subject to the pattern of conduct by speaker companies and speaker companies employees, all of whom are third party group stalkers. All right, this is the maintenance of the light source. It's 10:26 a.m. The entity is not going anywhere with the light source. So like I said, at 12:30, I'm standing right here. This is the same sidewalk, and it's right here above me. The entity is maintaining a light source. Again, 5:14, it's right here. Maintaining the objective is to keep light in the same exact location. Okay, this is the pattern of conduct. There is no sun, in other words. That was a pattern of conduct, again, as I'm capturing the light source in its zenith in the same exact way, day in and day out at the Upland Public Library. As I stand inside of that venue, it opened at 10 o'clock. I would stand outside of the library, and the light source was directly over that library. This is not the same position. This is not over in any sky space, not even in Upland, California, but let alone specifically over the Upland Public Library, where then I went inside of the Upland Public Library, and the entity at the same exact time I captured videos and making the same exact precise down to the minute, and I did that on purpose. And this is one of those times. It's currently 10:27 a.m. and the documented presence of the light source over the library and remaining over me in the same way as I move or walk around here. It remains in its central presence as I stood in the middle of that Upland Public Library, which has windows through the ceiling, and I captured that light source and the presence of the engineered light, which remained. And you're looking at what is impossible that would be any sun as I captured it, though, in still images and in video, but you're looking at the light source here, and you're looking at what is impossible light activity. Sunlight is not piercing through what are the cracks like this. This is the engineered light that you see in my bedroom. This is the P.O.C. And it is a demonic method of maintaining presence, touching all over the surfaces, which is what the demon-possessed want to do while they cross path, and what the demon-possessed do in an environment that's facilitating that pattern of conduct. So in other words, they walk around, drive around, live around in the pattern of, in the specific environment. And so this is documentation of the workplace terrorism and harassment that Speaker Companies is engaging in, and it is the criminal facilitation of federal group stalking and monitoring. Everything that you're hearing in the background is a demonic method of maintenance of audible activity in the engineered light, while they are all, they being the people of the state, they are all surrounding in relevant position, all of them surrounding in relevant position. It is P.O.C. All right, that's going, and this is why, as a matter of understanding policy and what you're going to create as far as protocol, every prosecution, every identification of the pattern of conduct where targeted individuals, American citizens in this country, are realizing that they're being subject, or now, in other words, already have a basis for enforcing their rights for that which they know they have been subject to, but it has never been proven, never been established. I'm going to be clear, the default approach for the prosecution of a public entity, and specifically the people of the state. You're going to disarm the system, and that's why the people of the state, you're talking about raiding communities where the entity is subject to this sex offense that is serving for ongoing domestic terrorism by a people on behalf of a government. You're removing the children. They're going to federal prison where they're doing so in concert with the law enforcement agencies that are monitoring, like I'm showing the Los Angeles Police Department, and like I've already shown the Fontana, the Pomona, the Montclair, the Chino, the Ontario, the San Bernardino, the Rialto police departments, where, by the way, there is no sun. That's why all of those that I just mentioned, they're all prosecuted, because it was never the sun that's over my head and those in that region where I'm showing you it's remaining over here in Los Angeles, where the entity is keeping a light source for the duration of the day, from here to right here at after 5 p.m. And you see all the buildings lit up with what is not possibly sunlight. That's the pattern of conduct. And it's the prosecution for all of those corrupt law enforcement agencies, because this is criminal monitoring that's going on in the state of California. All right. And it's also speaking to, again, when I use other states like Florida, the reason why I'm using that is because I'm letting you know what this country is actually engaged in. It's not a coincidence. It's speaking to what's impossible, that would be the sun in the sky space in Florida. Yet you'll see what is supposed to be the sun, but that's not possibly the sun in Florida, because I have documentation that's showing you've got a light source, and supposedly we only have one sun, and if it's in constant movement, that's not what's going on here, and you've got what's not possibly sunlight. So pray tell, what is in the sky space in Florida? Okay, these are the implications behind what is being exposed about what the state of California is doing, what the rest of this country is doing. All right. So like I said, it is currently 10:30 a.m. and this is documentation speaking to what's not possibly the sun through the roof of the Upland Public Library, or the sun that's over me while the Ontario Police Department are practicing demonic conduct, engaging in what is trying to threaten my life, group stalking under that light source in directed light, which I captured close-up images of that. And you're talking about what is never going to be the sun, as I documented in its zenith over my head, but yet I captured what was the pattern of conduct, not the natural environment, an engineered environment, a demonic environment, serving for what was the pattern of conduct and what is the pattern of conduct. All right. This is documentation of Speaker Companies. Speaker Companies is the people of the state. It's nothing other than a vicarious arm of the same entity that's engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring in the state of California in violation of existing federal law and a body of federal laws that are going to be created for purposes of prosecuting a public entity like this. All right. Federal prison. Brian works for IT, and he's facilitating during the workplace, while the Los Angeles Police Department, let me be clear, the more that they do it, the more people are going to federal prison. Brian is going to federal prison while I'm subject to this unlawful terrorism and harassment by an entity, all right? And while I am on the job subject to it, and it's criminal facilitation, his voice is audible activity, all right? He's working for a third-party company, all right? Everything about it is malicious, and he's going to federal prison, and I documented it. And that's how you're going to treat that. The entity works together, and the whole design of that system is that they're under the false premise that you're not protecting the people of the state. You're incriminating them, and you're prolonging how long they're going to federal prison. All right? That's P.O.C.